this and see how Twitter reacted to the 1-0 win yesterday.
Yeah, and everyone was absolutely delighted with how things unfolded. We'll start with Antonio Conte's message to the players. He put on Instagram yesterday, "Always with you, even from afar. Proud of the whole team." And he was obviously videoed giving Harry Kane a phone call after the game, wasn't he, to tell him how proud he was. And that was obviously it was actually great to see, Harry Kane go, answering the phone, "Yes, boss. What you got to say?" And he's like, "Harry, I'm so proud of you, Harry." It was really heartwarming. You see this TikTok the Spurs posted yesterday?
Yeah, I saw
absolutely brilliant. Harry Kane just sticking it to all the criticism he's had over the years, and look, I think he deserves to, becoming Tottenham Hotspur's record goal scorer. I think he absolutely deserves to stick it to anyone.
I still just can't get over it, and when I'm watching these videos, even though I've seen them 100 times already now, I'm still getting shivers up my spine because it's just such a momentous occasion. Harry Kane to be top goal scorer of this football club with that many goals by this age, to beat Jimmy Greaves' record, it's just mind blowing.
How many academy products are the top goal scorer of their club?
That's a big question. I don't think many.
I don't think many. He must be very. That's very. I think that's quite unique. I don't think it's a lot.
Obviously, Alan Shearer came through the academy at Southampton.
Yeah. Rooney obviously was signed for signed by Everton.
Academy of Everton. I can't think of many. If you guys know in the comments, let us know.
In the comments,
I can't think of any, to be honest.
Arsenal was honorary. So Man City is Aguero. Man U's Rooney. I can't think of too many players who are the top goal scorer ever for their club, and they're an academy product. Maybe Liverpool with Fowler. I don't know. Is Fowler the top goal scorer? I'm not sure. So yeah, it's incredible.
Did Fowler come through the Liverpool academy?
Actually, I don't know. I thought so, but I don't know. I don't know that for sure.
This is top goal scorers by clubs. I've got it up here now.
Here we go. We're gonna get it for you. Ian Rush, someone says, maybe.
So Aston Villa is Gabby Abong-Lahore.
Okay, he came through their academy.
Blackburn, Alan Shearer. Bolton, Kevin Davis. Don't know where.
He was signed by
Brentford, Ivan Toney. I don't know where he came through. Brighton, Glenn Murray. Chelsea, Frank Lampard. He's West Ham. Palace, Wilfred Zaha. Did he come through there?
He's a Palace Academy product. Yeah.
But you're talking about these goals. There's nothing like Harry Kane.
No, Kane is 200. Yeah.
Everton. Wow, is that true? What? Everton's top Premier League goal scorer is Romelu Lukaku.
That probably makes sense. Yeah.
That's mad. Fulham, Clint Dempsey. Leeds, Mark Viduka. Leicester, Jamie Vardy. No, he didn't come through there. Is Robbie Fowler? I don't know if Robbie Fowler is a Liverpool Academy player or not. Let's have a look. Who else we got?
Anyway, it's very impressive. Rare. Yeah, it's very rare, and to do that, to score the amount of goals he has as an academy product is incredible.
Ferdinand, maybe. Matt Letizier's one.
Yeah, Matt Letizier's Southampton.
101 goals.
But Kane, to do that as a academy product for Spurs is really, really impressive. If you haven't seen this, by the way, Spurs put out the clip of Rob Daly reacting to Kane's goal, which is you have to see it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Robbie Fowler is a graduate from Liverpool.
This video was what's it called? One way of dealing with Erling Haaland. How to stop Erling Haaland 1-on-1. There's Romero just going thwack
that was his
straight in. Yeah, unbelievable. It was so funny when he did. It's like bam, didn't give two shits. And he actually had a great game. Although it's funny, like he got sent off, and you'd expect a few murmurings from Tottenham fans, like, oh, he's too aggressive, he's too rash, all that, after getting that red card. But I think everyone's acknowledged, despite getting the red, he had a great game, and he actually it was 2 yellows, but the quality he showed throughout the game probably made up for that red card, despite the fact he got sent off later on.
Yeah, and also, I know he's going to be a big miss against Leicester, but at least he gets a nice break before we go to the San Siro.
Yeah, true. And look, it's one game. We saw last season, he missed a few big games and we still got the job done. So hopefully one game against Leicester won't be too much of a miss.
Yeah, and after the game he does miss, AC Milan, West Ham at home, Chelsea at home, 3 massive games coming up. after that. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but if you look at it, it says 100% aerial duels won, 6 duels, ground duels won, 3 clearances, 3 possessions won, 2 blocks, 2 tackles, 2 fouls committed, 2 fouls won, and 1 red card. So he actually had 2 yellows from both his fouls. He actually only made 2 fouls. 2 fouls, and both.
They were both bookable fouls.
Yeah, probably right. This is brilliant from the Spurs official Twitter account. They quote tweeted Harry Kane after he scored his first ever goal against Shamrock Rovers in 2011. Kane was messaged, "Thanks for all the messages. Shame we didn't get through. Pleased for my first goal, first of many." And then Spurs just quoted saying "first of many."
Shame we didn't get through.
Because I think we went out in the group stage then of the
Wasn't that not
Europa League.
Shamrock Rovers?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't go through.
No, we went out.
Wow.
Of the Europa League group
Don't
stage.
remember that whatsoever.
Yeah, we went out in the group stage. If you look at the attacking threat, it's quite interesting. Like, despite a lot of possession from Man City, you can see here Tottenham have lots of threat pretty much throughout the game, and probably even more than Man City. I think the bars are slightly higher, so that goes to show that it wasn't just backs against the wall stuff from Tottenham and just battening down the hatches. I think we were really threatening on the counter, and in fact, as you said before, it's just disappointing that from the really great positions, the number of great positions we found ourselves in, we didn't make more out of those opportunities, and not just with goals, just with really good chances. We had so many opportunities to play ourselves in on goal, and although we did have a few times it could have been so much more.
I did feel like maybe Stellini could have brought on a Danjuma, could have brought on a Richarlison with like 20 minutes, half an hour to go. I felt like he did maybe leave the subs a bit late. And you saw how threatening Spurs were. I thought maybe we just needed a bit more energy in that front line. And if Danjuma could have come on, he could have really ran into their throats a little bit more. But we got the win at the end of the day, so can't complain too much.
This was Stellini after the game. Just a bit with you can see how much all the players respect him, and it was great seeing all the players embrace him yesterday. It was absolutely fantastic, and he did brilliant. And I didn't realise it, so that he was obviously on the bench as well for Marseille, which was a massive game, and we end up getting over the line and getting with a win. So another game he had to step in, and another game he did absolutely brilliant on the touchline, and credit to him. And clearly, they have a very close relationship, him and Antonio, and it's great that even when Antonio obviously wish him better, and hopefully he gets back on touch as soon as possible. But he's clearly an able deputy when need be.
If Conte walks at the end of the season, he's taking Stellini as number 1.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know if Stellini would ever leave Conte's side. I don't know if he would dare. Here's the XG for Erling Haaland yesterday. Accumulated 0.00 XG against Tottenham this evening. Literally didn't have a sniff, Erling Haaland. Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, against Man United away, he didn't have a shot on target. But this game, he didn't even have a shot at all, let alone just not on target. So was really, really well shackled. Again, and our record against City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 5 games. This is Man City. 5 games, 0 wins, 0 draws, 5 losses, 0 goals scored, and 7 conceded. You know what's mad is that over those 5 games, they've conceded 7 goals, but they've had an XG of 9.5.
Wow.
So if you play those games out like 100 times, probably 90 times they score about 9 goals. But we're living in the universe where they've scored 0, which is pretty crazy.
Crazy.
Statistically, that must be pretty crazy.
Apparently, it's like over 80 shots or something. How many shots is it?
I don't know how many shots it is, but they have had a lot. They just every time they come, they dominate possession. They have a few. Actually, this is probably one of the more dominant defensive displays from Spurs compared to maybe previous ones.
And the XG yesterday was 1.46 to Spurs, 1.32 to Man City.
Yeah, this is probably one of the few times we out XG'd them, which was good because they usually get a penalty or something. This was Harry Kane getting a phone call by Antonio Conte after the game to congratulate him on his breaking the record. Wholesome stuff. You should get a watch. Here was brilliant. This team photo after the game, absolutely fantastic stuff. You can see here Stellini. Look at the passion in Stellini's face. I absolutely love that.
It's been a while since we've seen his Tottenham team photo. Look at Pedro
Porro there. He's settling in. Didn't get any minutes on the pitch. Haven't even mentioned him, but yeah, didn't get any minutes on the pitch. Hopefully I'm looking forward to his debut. I don't know if he'll start against Leicester, considering Emerson's form, but I'm looking forward.
I would like to see him start because he offers the attributes that we need in those kind of games. Where Emerson, I think he'll just frustrate us. I mean, he's had a great display last few games, really good displays. But I think like you need to play to your opposition. You know what I mean? And I think Pedro Porro is more adept to fighting those kind of battles that we'll be in the Leicester game.
I agree. But I kind of want to see him. I do have a feeling though that they'll just give Emerson the nod because he's playing so well at the moment. So but maybe it's the case of if he's really again not doing it going forward, then Porro can come on and finally get his debut off the bench. Kane in the dressing room getting congratulated by all his teammates. Clearly they're all very proud of him for getting, he said, too many people to thank who have been a massive part of my journey. Couldn't have done it without all my family, friends, teammates, and especially the fans. Obviously big up to Harry Kane. The Jimmy Greaves Twitter account said, family statement, congrats to Kane. We are proud that Jimmy's record has stood for over 50 years and know he would have been happy for Harry to be one to beat it after all this time. Congratulations to Harry from the Greaves family, Irene, Lynn, Andy, Mitzi and Danny, with Kane saying thank you for the kind words. It was a pleasure to have met Jimmy. I hope I've done his record proud.
Definitely have. And
he's also tweeted saying one season wonder. He was on it on Twitter last night, Harry Kane. He was just taking it all in. You can see
how emotional he was.
Yeah, it was a massive day for him. Massive day. Here's a breakdown, not a breakdown, but yeah, I guess it is a breakdown of all his goals, who they've been against. Obviously, 18 of his 200 goals, 18 against Leicester, 14 against Arsenal and Everton. So those are the goals he likes to score against, and obviously Southampton and West Ham up there. But look, 5 goals against Man United, Chelsea and City. He does score in those bigger games as well. 8 goals against Liverpool. Wow, he's got a decent record against them as well. And then here's a breakdown of how he has scored them. All of his 267, 39 penalties, 166 with his right foot, 50 with his left foot, 50 with his head, 1 with his shoulder, and 1 direct free kick. He's got that 1 direct free kick in there. Surprised it's that high. But it's still that Villa goal. Is that the only free kick he scored for Spurs? I guess, yeah, that's the only competitive one.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And that was his first one. How mad is that? His first free kick he took and scored, and hasn't scored since.
That's what you call beginner's luck.
And even that was deflected. Even that hit the wall.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That is exactly the definition of beginner's luck on free kicks.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Andrew Gaffney says, what people get wrong in these legacy debates is there's a difference between Harry Kane's legacy and Tottenham's. Tottenham winning something would improve the club's legacy, but it doesn't make Kane a better or worse player. He's already one of the greatest ever Premier League strikers. Absolutely spot on. And the last one is Harry Kane is just the 3rd player to hit a double century of goals in the Premier League, achieving the feat in 304 games. Alan Shearer needed 306 to get there, while Wayne Rooney required 462.
Wow.
So he's done it in about 150 games less than Wayne Rooney, which is incredible achievement.
It's incredible. And the Rooney-Kane debate gets brought up a lot in terms of who was the better player. And I think just looking at those stats alone, I mean, it's hard to say Rooney was the better player now. Obviously, Rooney has all the medals behind him and stuff like that because he was in that Manchester United side, which was completely dominant in this country. But I think as an out-and-out player, I'm going to say it right now, I think Kane is a better out-and-out player than Rooney was.
I think so, and especially consider how they perform in major tournaments. Well, Rooney always flopped at major tournaments massively. Kane has got golden boots. He's got goals in knockout stages.
He had one good tournament, didn't he, Rooney?
Rooney in Euro 2004, that was his first one, and then he really, I think he got 1 World Cup goal throughout his whole time.
But you say that, but like England now is a completely different England than when Rooney were playing. England have turned up the tournaments since. I know Harry Kane's obviously a very central figure to that, but the whole team seem to click a lot better now than they did then. So
potentially, you could argue they had a better team.
No,
back
they had a very good team, but there was always the case of, Rio Ferdinand has spoken about it a lot, saying it was very cliquey then. Team members kept to team members, didn't really speak to each other, and now it seems like a more together squad where everyone's in it together and they work much better as a team.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that 1 World Cup goal isn't particularly, and also I think Kane beat his goals at major tournaments like in one tournament. You know what I mean? I think Kane's been better for England. Obviously, Wayne Rooney played in a much better side when he was playing for Man United. But considering the side, comparing that to Kane, like the fact that he's outscored Rooney at such a massive rate and at such an inferior side is also very, very impressive as well. Rooney, was playing for Man United when they were winning 3 Premier League titles in a row. They had a chock-a-block with talent, unbelievable defenders and midfielders to play off. And Kane hasn't always had that. Although he's had good sides, he's never had anything close to Wayne Rooney. I think he is a better player than Wayne Rooney, in my opinion. I think he's definitely going to last longer. Think about when Wayne Rooney was like 29, 30. He was nearly finishing. I think he was, I don't know how old he was when he left Man United. He was probably, 32, 33? He was already done. Whereas Kane just doesn't look like he's slowing down while he's approaching 30.
Is he the best Premier League striker of all time, Harry Kane?
It's difficult to call them. For me,
when you got strikers up there, you're talking about the Wayne Rooneys, the Alan Shearers. I mean, Thierry Henry, players like that. I mean,
Aguero.
I think Aguero. I mean, when you're looking at the best strikers in Premier League of all time, who are you putting as number one? It's probably got to be Thierry Henry, right?
Yeah, I mean, Henry had it was that the big difference between Kane and Henry is the pace. Henry had that unbelievable pace and dribbling ability. When it comes to like finishing, like playmaking, assists, and all that kind of stuff, I think Henry and Kane are very much on par. But Henry had that dribbling ability over Harry Kane, which Kane's good, but he's not Henry good. But I still think, as a pure goal scorer, I think Kane is on par with Henry. Like, I think there's a debate to say Kane could even be better. But as an all-round player, it's hard to argue against Thierry Henry.
And obviously longevity, Kane's going to beat Henry on that.
Oh, yeah,
when you're
sure.
looking at their careers on a whole in the Premier League. And obviously the other one's Aguero. Where do you stack Aguero up against Kane?
Yeah, I think Aguero is an unbelievable striker. I think the one thing Kane had over Aguero is his ability to stay fit, I guess, over longer periods. Aguero always had those niggling injury problems and stuff. But Aguero was phenomenal. He's such a phenomenal striker with his ability to wriggle out of tight situations, his finishing ability, the power he got. I think the only thing Kane had over Aguero was his playmaking ability. I think Aguero was quite good with his playmaking ability, and he was good with his one-touch football. But when it came to like having real vision for through balls, like ability to really get consistent assists and things like that, I think Kane had that edge over Aguero. Whereas Aguero maybe is a pure goal scorer in the penalty. I think he was a bit sharper than Kane, Aguero, and obviously dribbling ability and stuff like that was probably a bit better. But I think Kane beats him in playmaking and ability to physical ability as well. So I think Kane probably just about edges it.
I agree, because when you're looking at the two players as a whole, I think Aguero is a better poacher than Harry Kane, and Aguero was probably the best poacher in Premier League history. Fox in the box, around the 6-yard box, he was incredible. Obviously he could do a lot outside of it as well, but I think when you're taking into account what the player can do from top to bottom in every facet of the game, I don't know if there is a better striker than Harry Kane when you take into account the whole spectrum of their gameplay.
It's like, could Aguero do what Kane does?
No.
Like for us, like if you put Aguero in our team, like he's not good. Like what the team, like our team functioning is so we rely so heavily on Kane because he can do that job of dropping deep, like setting the tone, but also then getting on the end of things and being that striker when we need him to be as well. Like being the central hub of a team. I don't know if Aguero has that in him to do something like that. And even Henry, I don't like Henry was obviously amazing. I don't know if he has that ability to be a central hub of the team and be so reliant on like Kane is for us. Henry had unbelievable players around him and they played really beautiful football, one-touch football. But like to be a player where everything goes through him, like that's so difficult, and very few strikers or players are of that quality to be able to do that. And Kane is one of them. Yeah,
you're talking about a player that if he had a bit more pace than he had, Harry Kane, you're talking probably about one of the best players of all time. Never mind Premier League, in world football. A bit more pace, he could have done it, even though he probably is right now. I think he just needs the trophies, doesn't he? That's all he's missing right now, Harry Kane. And he's got the finishing ability of like the best striker in the world. He's got of like, let's say, Benzema or anyone, you know, you can take of the best striker in the world. He's got the passing ability of a Kevin De Bruyne. He's got the football brain of God knows who, someone in another incredible, like every single facet.
Like a Paul Scholes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Every single facet of his game is elite level, apart from his pace, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable that he's just come through. And it's unbelievable that, like, it's incredible when he was coming through our academy. It's like, it's not like any of these, like, he was naturally gifted with. Like, some players, like, you just come through, they come through and you know that they're going to be good at something. Like Bale was always, like, really fast and always had an amazing dribbling ability, and he was, like, a natural in these things. Like, Defoe was always, like, someone who, like, was, like, when he was coming through, always, like, a really great finisher, was always banging the goals, those powerful, sharp finishes. But when Kane was coming through, there was nothing like he was especially good at. All of the things he's amazing at now, he's had to really work at, like constantly, like throughout his game. He's always spent extra hours on the training back to perfect everything he's good at now, and he's built himself up in such a way where he's genuinely one of the best in the world in all these different facets. And he's a genuine inspiration to a lot of young strikers who maybe right now aren't the best at these certain things, especially young strikers who are coming through their academies and trying to learn their trade. They can look up to Harry Kane and say, even though at like 18, 19, I'm not as good as this guy at finishing, or this guy at passing, or I'm not as good as these other players. If I keep working out like Kane did, maybe when I do get to 21, 22, 23, I can get to that level. And Kane has proven that you don't have to be the very best for your age, at 18, 19, 20 to become one of the best strikers in the world. And he really is an inspiration.
Absolutely, really is. And it just shows how far you can go with hard work. That's just what it proves to anyone. And if anyone coming through, any young player, all they need to do is look at Harry Kane to prove how far you can go with hard work. But anyway, let's get into these super chats. Jaden says Kane will get his trophy on June the 10th. I'm guessing that's going to be in Istanbul.
Come on.
Lee Richards with the super chat saying, looks like the players were playing for Conte yesterday because of everything he's been through. Come on, Levy, nail that Conte contract extension down. And yeah, absolutely. Scorpion fan for life saying, if Conte signs, so will Kane, and the whole team will get a boost. But does Conte sign and give Levy power? Contract and Spence saga feels like a power struggle. What would you say to that?
I mean, does Conte signing give Levy power? I mean, a bit, but like if Conte doesn't sign, then there's no power for Conte to have. He's gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he has to sign to still be here. Yeah. Of course, it does. It does give Levy a bit of power, which is why Conte needs his trust. Needs to trust him if he's going to sign. But I think hopefully if he does sign, that would be a sign of Conte believing that we can really push on in the transfer market come the summer. And I do think, for me, as much as there is a genuine risk of Conte leaving this summer, 100%. We know with the character he is, there is a possibility he'll leave. But I do also genuinely believe a lot of what, all this posturing with Conte and will he sign, won't he sign, and all this kind of keeping the board on their toes and stuff like that. I do believe it's just a tactic to put a lot of pressure on the board. I do believe there is a genuine willingness to want to stay with him, and I do believe a lot of it is just to make sure that he is putting the board under pressure, making sure he does everything he can to get what he wants. But with the fact that there is a possibility of him leaving, but I do think there is more of a chance of him staying than people think there is.
Okay, next up is Dark Sun G. Says, I love how we won twice with Stellini, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Kane again. That's completely right, isn't it? Because Højbjerg, that's probably his last really good display he had in Marseille.
Yeah, he really stepped up for us again. And yeah, two big games, as you say, was where Conte's been missing, but we've had to really dig deep and get results and two good displays.
And the big players have stepped up on the big occasions for us when Conte has been out, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, this season, like when things were going very bad for us, like we did show a lot of fight and a lot of mental resilience to get a lot of the results we did get during that period. And I think if we can get that mentality and marry it with a much more robust defence, and marry it with much more defensive solidity and that aggression, then I think we're onto something really, really special. I think the fact that we were so easy to play against, and I don't know what it was, we were lacking energy or whatever we were lacking for that part of the season. Even in those periods, in a lot of those games, we still showed a lot of mental strength and toughness to drag ourselves back into a lot of those games. And especially case in point, that Marseille game, we were 1-0 down heading out the Champions League, and we dragged ourselves out of it and got the win. And that did happen in a few games, even games that we didn't win. For example, like Liverpool, 2-0 down, dragged ourselves back in the game and should have got something out of the game. Like, it happened a lot of times. So if we can take that mental toughness into the second half of the season, then that can be a very positive thing for us.
Absolutely. KPV has gifted a We Are Tottenham membership. I'm not sure to who, but it says he's gifted a We Are Tottenham
Big
membership.
up to you, KPV.
So big up, KPV. Dark Sun G again says, 1 year ago we beat City, and it was "Are you watching Harry Kane?" chant after beating City with a Son goal. Yesterday, Kane scored the winner, and we cheered 267 goals. Michael Hellman with the super chat saying, if we get top 4, challenge for the FA Cup and Champions League, does that pave over the Port's transfer strategy and concerns for the future?
If we get top 4, challenge. Does it pave over?
Basically, he's saying if we get what we want this season, is it papering over the cracks of maybe some of the positions? Not.
No, I just think it. I don't think it paved. Well, maybe partly, but I think it goes to show how good of a manager Conte is if he can do that with the level of defenders that we have. As I said, I remember saying this in the panel show we had on Thursday. As much as it's not totally on Conte how poor we've been defensively, he needs to show that he can get the level of performance that he did last season again this season, to show his quality again, and to prove to this hierarchy that if you can give this guy a level defender that can compete with the rest of the top 6, we can be flying next season. And it would paper over it a bit, but it would also show the quality of Conte again. That would be the main thing for me.
Jory says, everybody say, I love Emerson. And
I love Emerson.
And I'm sure we've got a caller coming on next who definitely loves Emerson, and he'll definitely tell us how well Emerson played yesterday. But last but not least, with the super chat, El Dante says, Emerson Royal as a future centre-back for us. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, I think right centre-back, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? With Romero out in suspended now for the Leicester game, would you like to see Emerson right centre-back instead of Sanchez, and then Porro given his debut?
I mean, I would. I don't think I'll do it, but I would like to see it, yeah. I think he could do that role. I don't see why he couldn't do that role, right centre-back. I guess obviously it's very different playing right centre-back to wing-back in terms of positionally where you need to be on the pitch, working with the rest of your back three in tandem for the offside line and all these different things. But in terms of his profile, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be able to fill in a right centre-back, especially when you look at his defensive ability aerially as well, his ability to get to the back post and defend that space. I think he could be quite effective there. The only worry I would have him is when, if we're playing out the back and short, if his ability, because you have to take quite a bit of risk in that right centre-back role on the ball, like playing the ball into midfield or out wide, whereas when he's right wing-back, he's just receiving the ball a lot, and he's not really playing with a lot of risk when it comes to passing it out. So I would worry a bit with that. But if he can get that right and not make any mistake or any stupid mistakes, I think he could do a good job there.
I really would like to see it at Leicester on Saturday.